Hello everyone, this is Chase, and today I would like to again introduce you to the BraillePlus 18 note taker from APH. Today I would like to describe all of the buttons and controls and ports on the unit so that you will know what all of the controls do on your BraillePlus 18 device. You will want to orient your BraillePlus 18 so that the Braille display, which you can feel, is closer to you, so this is its proper operating position. And let's just start talking about the controls on the face of the device. On the top of the device closest to you, you find 3 buttons from left to right. The one on the left is a round button, or more of an oval button. This is your shift key. If you're typing in computer Braille, this serves as .7. To the right of the shift key is a longer oval key. This is your space bar. And to the right of that is another key shaped like the shift key, and that is your alt key, which you use with other keys to do things like find, open an address, etc. And this is also .8. So from left to right on this row is shift, space, and alt. The BraillePlus calls alt for some of its functions in the same way that your PC might call the control key, if that helps you to think of that better. Moving away from you, above those 3 buttons, we find your 18-cell 8-dot Braille display, and that is pretty self-explanatory. That is where your refreshable Braille will show up. To right above of the Braille display, you find 18 small oval buttons. These are your 18 cursor routing keys. There's one above each of the Braille cells, and you can press one of these keys above the cell that you want to either move the cursor to that position when you're editing, or if you're in a menu, pressing any of the cursor routing buttons will activate the menu option currently showing on the display. So these work with activating options and moving your cursor. To the right of these cursor routing buttons, to the right of the rightmost button, you find both an area for LED lights, which show you things like if the BraillePlus is powered on, if it's charging, etc. And that is also where your telephone earpiece is, so that if you would like to hold your BraillePlus to your ear to be used as a cell phone, you can do that. The BraillePlus is pretty big for it to be used as a phone. It's very portable, but a little big to hold up to your ear, so you might have better luck either using the speakerphone, using a headset that plugs in, or using a Bluetooth headset, but the earphone option is still there. To the left of your cursor routing buttons, on the left edge of the unit, is a sliding button. This is your key lock button. If we slide this towards the back of the unit, it clicks. It doesn't slide very far, but you can feel and hear it click. That will now mean that all the buttons on the device are locked, so that pressing any button will not do anything. This is nice if you're transporting the device. To unlock the keys, bring the switch back towards you. Above this, you will find your 6 Braille entry keys, as you would normally be used to. On the left, you have .3, .2, .1, and then a small space, and then dots 4, 5, and 6. These are oriented ergonomically so that your hands fit on these very naturally. These keys are very comfortable to type on. It's not difficult at all to type. They are very quiet. If I type, it's very quiet, not disturbing, and they're very comfortable keys to type on. They're similar to the keys that you might find on a Mac laptop, so they press very easy and they're very comfortable. Above your Braille entry keys, you find many things. We're going to start on the left. The furthest buttons you can fill on the left is 2 oval buttons, and one is on top of the other. The one closest to the rear edge of the unit is your back key. This is kind of like a cancel key or an escape key. This will back you out of any menu that you are currently in. It will close a document if there's one open, close the web browser, or back you to a previous web page, etc. So this is your back key. Below the back key, just a little bit lower in terms of height, is a key called S1. And this button works a lot with the phone application. This deals with answering calls, hanging up calls, and opening the phone app. And when we look at the phone app, we'll look at this button a little more later. To the right of both the back and S1 keys, you find a long bar, and this is just one button. It feels like it might press in 2 places, but it's really just one. This is your menu key. So if you are in any application, pressing this will open a list of options for that application. For example, if you're in the word processor, this will allow you to do things like set formatting, open a new document, save a document, etc. So that is a very important button to allow you to access many functions. This bar is oriented vertically. To the right of that menu bar, you have a circle with 4 arrows on it. These are your arrow keys, and pressing the marked place on the top of the circle is your up arrow. The bottom is down, the left is left, and the right is right. That's pretty self-explanatory. And a little bit higher than the arrows in the middle of that circle is your select button, which opens whatever choice you're on, activates the current function. To the right of these arrow keys is another long vertical bar like the menu key. This is your home key. Pressing this will always take you back to the home screen of the device, which contains a list of all of the applications, and holding this presents you with a list of your most recently accessed applications. And finally, to the right of this home key, you find 2 more oval keys, one on top of the other, just like we found earlier. The one on the top is your search key. Pressing this on the home screen will allow you to search, and whatever you type, it'll search everything from your documents, your contacts, installed applications. It'll also search Google on the web, so you can just type in there and it will automatically do a Google search as well. Pressing this in a web page will search in that web page. Pressing this in a document or a book will search for text within that document. So this is also a very, very handy feature. And below the search key, again, just slightly lower in height, you find your S2 key, and this, when pressed, will read from your current cursor position or wherever you are right now to the bottom of the document or window. If you don't want to have to arrow through your document, this just allows you to automatically go through. That is all the controls on the top surface of the unit, and these buttons are all made of plastic. Now, let's look at what's on the right side of the unit. Closest to you, you will find 2 buttons. The one closest to you is your quick record button. This button, if you press it, opens the recorder application, which allows you to record your voice or music or something like that. And the button behind that is another small round plastic button, just like the record button. This is your camera button, which automatically, when pressed, opens the look application for OCR. And this allows you to take a picture and recognize text on a printed page. Above this, you find a long vertical bar. This is your volume key. Pressing the end of this bar towards you turns the volume down. Pressing it away from you turns the volume up. When you press this when the unit is silent, that adjusts the unit's volume for things like music and notification sounds. If the unit is speaking, it adjusts the text-to-speech volume. And if you are on a call, this adjusts the call volume. So this is, again, a very handy feature, and that is your volume key. Behind that is your 3.5 millimeter or 1/8 inch jack. You can plug headphones in here or external speakers so that you can use external speakers or headphones with this device. This is also where you plug in the cord that came with the BraillePlus that allows you to connect it to the TV for video output. When you do this and connect the other end to the TV, you can get full video output for everything on your screen as if you were looking at the screen on an Android phone or tablet. So no matter what you're doing on the BraillePlus, you will see the whole screen on your TV or computer screen. And finally, closest to the back, behind the microphone and video out jack, is your microphone jack. To make a recording, you can plug an external microphone in here for a better quality recording. Now, on the left edge of the device, we have, closest to you, you'll feel a very small hole in the rubber because this device is surrounded by rubber as kind of a bumper or to protect the device. So the small hole you feel is your reset button. You can stick a stylus or a paper clip in there if you need to reset your device. This doesn't happen very often, but that option is there. Behind that, you will feel a button that is pretty much flush with the surface of the device, but this is your power and sleep button. If your device is on, pressing this button will wake it up. If you're using this device, pressing this button will put it to sleep to conserve battery. Holding this button will allow you to mute your device, enable airplane mode to disable all wireless radios, or it will allow you to completely power down your device. If your device is completely powered down, this allows you to power on your device. Behind the power and sleep button, you find a large port. This is a USB 2.0 port. You can plug things like thumb drives and external hard drives in here. You can also use this to connect any type of peripheral that you would like to use. It also supports USB keyboards, and if you're using this with a monitor for sighted people, you can plug a mouse in here so that the person doesn't have to use the buttons on the device. You can use a mouse to navigate as well. And behind the full-size USB port, you'll find the USB client port, which is where you plug in the cable to connect this to your computer to transfer files. That's also where you plug in the AC adapter to charge your BraillePlus. On the front edge of the device, the edge that's normally facing you, you will find on the left one of your stereo speakers. To the right of that, you'll find your previous Braille scrolling button, which allows you to pan your display back 18 characters. Not one line of print will fit on the Braille display, so this will allow you to scroll the 18 cells of the Braille display to show you the rest of a line. This is your backwards scrolling key on the left, so it will move you to the previous display length of text. To the right of this, you'll find a 5-way joystick. This can move towards you, away from you, left, right, or you can press it in. This acts just like the arrow keys, and pressing it in acts just like your select key. So if you don't want to use the arrows, or if your thumbs are already on the front of the device to be used to navigate and use the Braille display, you can use this joystick as your arrows, if you just don't want to have to move your hands to get to the arrow keys. And to the right of this joystick, you find the other Braille scrolling button to move the display forward. And finally, to the right, you find your other stereo speaker. On the very bottom of the front edge of the device, which almost sits on the table, but it's still on the front, you will find an opening on the left. This is your SIM card slot. And this is where you insert a SIM card if you want to use your BraillePlus with a GSM cell phone carrier, if you want to use that option. You just slide your full-sized SIM card in here. And on the opposite end of the front of this device, you'll find a larger opening. This is where you insert an SD card. This device supports SD cards up to 32 gigabytes, and you just insert that SD card into that slot. And on the underside of the device, you'll find a sticker with your serial number and a BraillePlus sticker. You'll also find the opening for the camera lens, which allows you to take a picture of a printed piece of paper to do OCR on that. That is where your camera and LED lamps for illumination of the paper are located. Before we end, I just want to say that if you're not comfortable remembering or using the keys on the front of the device, like the arrow keys, the back key, etc., there are Braille chord commands that you can use with those buttons, if you would rather do this all from the Braille keyboard. And I'm not going to say all of those here. They can be accessed in the user's manual at tech.aph.org, and of course we'll cover those in future videos as well, but you don't have to use those buttons. You can do all that with Braille as well. We hope you found this video useful on using the BraillePlus 18 and learning all of its controls. We'll be back soon with more operating instructions on the BraillePlus 18. In the meantime, if you want to contact us with any questions or feedback, you can send an email to youtube@blindmobiletech.com, and that's probably a better way to contact us than leaving comments on the YouTube page. So if you have any feedback, go ahead and send us an email at that address, youtube@blindmobiletech.com.